That was a good start. Hello everybody, I'm Lisa and this is Joy, and we are both coming to you from This Is Knit in Dublin. We are delighted to see you. Thank you for coming along, or for coming live or watching back afterwards. Definitely please leave us a comment down below, just or wave. It's just lovely to see everybody joining. We are here today for a special announcement.
Very
Special announcement. On and off. Unfortunately, it has been on and off because there's been the small matter of a shop renovation that happened in between. But we've been working as a team on the Toe Up, my first socks follow along, using a toe up sock pattern. And it's been on the go. I think we first talked about this, but back before Christmas. So it's taken a little while. And back before Christmas, I said, that won't take too long. But it did. And it did for a couple of reasons, not only because of other projects, but
you also do it so well that you do it properly. So that takes time.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Takes time.
No, and to be fair, yes, we started with a simple concept, but we sort of added an awful lot more into it. We were sort of catching Joy up on what's involved and what everybody gets when they take part in the follow along. And she was like, all those patterns, all. So yes, but we're going to tell you a lot more about it over the course of the next little while.
Everything you need to know about knitting socks.
Everything you need to know. There was so many questions about it, so it's clearly just something that's caught everybody's imaginations, that everybody's into, or you've already been trying socks and you've come across a few little niggly bits that you'd like a little bit of advice on. So that's what we're here to do. Is there any other sort of news from the shop, Joy, of lately? Putting you on the spot. We got some beautiful new strategic yarns in,
yes,
didn't we?
some lovely new deliveries, and we had a delivery from Jenny. But we're going to get another one.
Last week, she's on the ball, Everybody go and follow Townhouse Yarns, because she's actually posting stuff on Instagram now, which is amazing.
Welcome back, Jenny.
welcome. Yeah. So Jenny, if you're not sure who Jenny is, she's my sister, and she dyes all of the Townhouse Yarns, dyes and labels and twists and all that.
Colours.
Yes. So you can go and check her out. She's Townhouse Yarns here. I can see that we have questions. We have people letting us know where they're joining from, Oklahoma. Can we learn to knit with the sock along? You so wish to learn. So it isn't a beginner knitting course at all, and it definitely socks would not be what I would recommend as your first project.
To start with, no.
But there's certainly, and kind of thinking ahead to Christmas, and maybe just a good old beginner guide is something that we definitely are missing.
Really portable, I think. I'm not a huge sock knitter. Sorry. But they're very portable.
They are
really, really portable. So bring them along.
Yes, absolutely. Can't wait to learn how to cast on for the toe up. And you're hopeless at it so far. Don't worry, we'll get you through it, Sandy. No problem at all. On the sweater, because this is just CJSS was saying that the sweater is beautiful. It is not mine. I'm doing my usual thing of borrowing other people's beautiful work. This is Patricia, who's been doing some sample knitting for us, and it is the First Snow sweater by Knitting.
I'm reading the label on the back.
By Knitting for Breakfast, and it's made in the new yarn from Kama Rose, which is host or host. We haven't decided on that. And
probably host, actually.
Yeah, I think so. And the pattern is currently being updated at the moment by Knitting for Breakfast. So once all of the sizes in it are available, we're going to have some kits as well for you. You'll need to get some You'll need to stock some Christmas yarn so you can get going. Yes, Christmas socks are 100% a thing.
They're definitely.
And I will be getting more.
We do get them in, like the unique socks. They fly out the door.
They do. So, so we were going to get into your questions. Most of our replies are going to be sort of talking replies, nearly all, rather than full-on in-depth demos, because that's what the follow along is for. Okay, so there's been a lot of time put into creating in-depth tutorials and worksheets and guides to just basically to cover all of your angles. I will let you know at the very start of all of this, before we get in much further, that there is an early bird offer on the follow along. So the regular price is going to be €55, but if you secure your ticket, oh wow, words are coming. If you secure your ticket before Sunday, then Sunday at midnight, you can get it for €50. Now, within that, it's all of your lessons, all of your toe up, your heels, your magic loop refreshers, because they are done on magic loop technique. Patterns, a quick start pattern for if you just want to dive in with a 4-ply yarn. A quick start pattern if you want to dive in with DK weight yarn. So sort of slipper socks, although they would be a bit slippery on your floors, and 4-ply. So you'll have patterns, just immediate medium-sized numbers for those. But then, and this is where we added in an awful lot of stuff,
I know.
is we have created and are going to give you a fully customizable pattern. So once you have done your wee swatch and you know your tension, your row gauge, your stitch gauge, you're able to plug in those numbers with the size of your feet or the size of your kids' feet or your grandkids or your best friend or your husband, and you'll be able to make any size socks.
How to measure? Because I think that confuses a lot of people with socks. So you'll get all the details of how to measure your foot. Yeah. Which I think is, well, it's a good starting point.
100%, yes. Yeah. So all of that will be covered. And I'm going to get into why we chose toe up as well and what the advantages are of that. But that's been loads of pre-submitted questions. But I want to say thank you, Liz Sully, because you said the sweater follow along was 100% worth the money. The tutorials were fantastic. Yay. Yeah. I don't like magic loop. I know some people don't, so that's Sandy Scrap. Will you show alternatives for DPNs or 9-inch circular needles? Right. So the particular methods that are used in toe-up socks, which is Judys Magic Cast On, and in our case the German short row heel, are just best done over a number of stitches that are divided in two. If you can tolerate magic loop technique just for the toes, and just for that heel section, it's not even magic loop, you're sort of going back and forth, so that's easy enough. If you're confident with DPNs, no problem for switching on that. Joy, your mic is faint, apparently. We'll turn you up a bit. Oh. Let's see how that goes.
Can you hear me now?
And, where was I? So, for the length of the foot, from toe to the start of your heel shaping, you can use whatever method of circular knitting suits you, okay? Short circulars, DPNs, whichever you like. And again, obviously, as you work up your leg and to your cuff. No problem, it's all adaptable, but the demonstrations are done on magic loop technique for those key parts, which is toe and heel, which is where people get a bit afraid, don't they? With the heel, yeah. So.
I know the thing that I found when I started was the Judys. Is that what you're using? The toe part.
The Judys Magic Cast On,
Judy, sorry.
Yeah.
Judy.
There's a J somewhere.
Sorry.
Yeah. We were talking about stretchy bindings.
I remember I had to try that a few times, so I would have been really happy to have a really good patient tutorial. But I worked it out, so I made a few socks. Sorry, I'm still faint.
I don't know what we're going to do with you. Okay, I'm going to
shout. Sorry. She's fiddling with me here.
Okay, now if that doesn't work, okay, we're going to get you to speak a little louder.
Okay, I shall speak a little louder.
And if not, I can take out the headphone part and just put this bit up here, but we'll see.
Maybe I can move the mic down a little bit.
Maybe. Let's give that a go. All right, so keep giving us the feedback on the sound. Sorry about that. We're going to get her to shout a little bit.
Sign language.
But I'm going to dive into the questions because, and on the first few, I'm just going to name check a few of you. Okay, hang on.
I'm sorry.
Try that.
Okay, try that. How is that any better? Can you hear me now?
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
I don't think anybody would ever say I was very faint.
Okay, we will carry on. So I'm going to name check a few of these people because most of you ask questions that basically the answer is join the follow along. So better, yes, excellent. So Mia Cat 587, Una Padalka, and hello. So actually, Mia Cat, you asked, will the sock follow along give instructions for shorties as well as DPNs or magic loop? So we covered that. And Una, just you wanted to know if there's going to be a follow along happening, and there is. Is it best to start with fingering weight yarn or DK? Does it matter? And what size of skinny needles are best for trying out socks? So the answer being swatch. Well, so we're giving the two main options in the quick start patterns, which is working with a 4-ply sock yarn. Okay, but in that case, you're actually using 2.5 millimeter needles, or even sometimes 2.25s, which is a US size too for the US followers, and then a DK weight. So if basically you want to get where you're going and learn the techniques a bit faster, or if you're a newer knitter but still are like you have experience in knitting in the round, then you can go for this, which is more of a hiking sock or a slipper sock. I'll try and give you like the size of the stitches there on that one, and then that's the 4-ply there. Okay, and because someone will ask, this is Townhouse Yarns Clarendon sock in Moonbeams, is Clarendon sock yarn, and then the same colorway but in Drury DK. Okay, so you'll have the choice, either of those. Basically, if you want to just fly through the tutorials faster, go with the thicker one. But as I said,
that's what's really good about the follow along, is that you can do it at your own pace.
100%.
And we all do things, you know, at a different pace. I find sometimes some things I pick up really quick, and other things I have to keep going back to watch again and again.
Yeah, not everything's going to come to you straight away, you know. So, but it is guided like that, but also that it's kind of a living course. You're not sort of one and done. You can come back once you've got your methods down, start doing your swatches and your calculators for like different sizes and different yarn.
Matching socks for all the family.
I know. And we fully intend to add a couple of bonus tutorials as well, like for different cast off methods and things as you go. So you get the lifetime access to this, and the new tutorials will be added in time as well. So, exactly. Okay, and how to start. So,
sorry, Micah. I have a rogue mic, seemingly.
At least I must have. I think that one's gone back to the shop, so it is. So that's just basically a shout out to Papalette, because you were asking what the best way is to start, and of course we want you to start with us and be guided through everything, and make sure that we've got your back. We've got your back. And then the same to Ryan Koenig and Potter's Cottage and Shadows Fly. The simple answer: join us. Join us and get your early bird ticket this week as well. So before Sunday, you're getting the €5 off, and that includes a coupon
for €20.
For €20.
€20. Sorry, I said that out loud. But you don't. If you have your own sock yarn that maybe you picked, you can use your €20 towards something else.
Yep, absolutely.
In the shop.
It's not restricted at all to anything specifically for your materials, but obviously a lot of people are going to use those. So for your yarn, or if you need shiny new Chagu needles or anything like that, then you can use it on those. But yeah, if you've got your own materials, you want to do the follow along at home and then just treat yourself to something else with the €20, bang on, no problem at all. The coupon is valid for 6 months, and you just need to use it all in one transaction. Okay. All right. Will you do how to measure for? Oh, hello.
Sorry, poor connection there.
Oh, it's never easy. Never easy. So we had a question. Hello.
Sorry.
Wow, Instagram is not loving us lately. Okay, so I've just changed over to my mobile data because there was something up with our connection. I'm hoping you can see us and hear us now okay. We had some questions about mailing to the US and Canada, and yes, the answer is
we do.
100% we do. That's no problem at all. Okay. Australia, New Zealand, all over
everywhere.
Europe, yes, everything else. So Liz Sully said spending the coupon was definitely the easiest part of the sweater follow along. I'd agree. We don't need a tutorial on that.
No, not spend money.
So we were about to dig into a question from S. Moore. I think that's Sandra, isn't it?
Sandra.
Hi, Sandra. And it was, how do you measure for a sock, and what method do you recommend?
Okay.
So
you measure around the ball of your foot.
Yep.
You stand down on the tape, right?
Yep.
So your foot spreads, because if you kind of lift your foot, it's anyway your
foot. Yeah, you're pulling your toe
like
back.
When it's down, will measure more, and you're looking for negative ease. You don't want positive ease on your sock.
Mm-hmm.
So when you measure it, you then multiply it by 0.95. I hope you can hear me. And that will give you your negative ease.
Yeah.
Also, you can stand on a page. I think I did this when I did my first sock with Albina McLaughlin. that's what she had said. And I put my foot down again because you spread your foot, and I measured around. I like drew around my foot, and then I measured. So then you have a template measurement from the tip of the toe to the heel.
To the back of the heel. So they're important measurements, and what Joy is saying about taking the round the ball of your foot as being the largest circumference that you need your numbers to go up to, and the multiplying it by 0.5, and then there's obviously a bit of rounding to make like stitches work, but we don't want you to worry about that because that's part of the calculators that are built into the follow along lessons. So it's all up on a page on our website that you're able to enter. Right, well, my foot at this point, it's done in inches because that's just kind of the easiest thing for getting round quantities for this, but your foot measuring so many inches around, and then it'll do the little bit of negative ease for you, and it'll do the rounding as well. So you don't need to. Our aim is that you don't need a physical calculator for this. You'll be able to plug in your numbers from just doing these little cute sliders that are nice on the website. So you can tell I'm a bit excited about this. I mean,
she's been working on it, I have to say, really, really hard.
And on and off for a while. But
I'm delighted about the orders received very quickly.
Isn't that nice? Just received your Moonlight cardigan order. Love the Moonlights. So gorgeous, so gorgeous. Okay, so hopefully that has covered that. And toe increases was the next one, and this is from a PO 34. And what you were saying is you knit toe to heel socks, but you're very bad at toe increases, which is terrible. You'd say I find them difficult. Don't say you're very bad at them. You're grand. You just haven't learned the right way yet. So what do we recommend for you? The way that I do toe increases, and this is covered again in the tutorials, is rather than having to pick up the bars and or do knit into front to back, which is leave like a bobbly bit or anything like that. The smoothest, easiest, quickest increase that you can do in a toe up sock is a backward loop cast on. So
and it's amazing because in a pattern I'm knitting now, it's a top. That's how she does her increases, and it really works. Now you do have to kind of make sure they're quite tight, but it really works.
It's nifty, and it just makes your life so much easier as you're working those increases on the toes, and kind of before you know it, you're into the straight stockinette of your foot. So you're not worrying about make one right and make one left or this, that, the other, and it just, I mean, you can see, let's do it. They're in there. They are backward loop cast on increases.
Really neat.
It's neat. It's not gappy. It's quick to do. It's really, really just nifty.
And you don't have to go, do I put the needle in the front? Do I put the needle in the back?
Especially just after that cast on, because you're dealing with like so few stitches and they're all quite close together and stuff. So I can understand why, like if you're following a different pattern when they're asking you to do a lifted bar increase or something like that you're just going to go, where? I don't know where. So Deb, you were wondering when does it start and is it on Zoom? So because it's the video tutorials are all pre-recorded, so it's like a guided process that you go through in your own time. There's not specific live broadcasts or anything for it, but you'll get, and actually part of it, what we haven't said, is that at any time there's the chat window down the bottom right hand side of all of the lesson pages. So if you have a question, you pop it in there and you get that backup and the support from the team.
We pride ourselves on our support.
We do. And I think we're right too.
We do our very, very best.
So you're not kind of cast out there by yourself on your own, and you're not left with kind of like limited lessons or live things. They've been edited and they've been thought through and to try to make clear. Some things slowed down, some things zoomed in, for all of that kind of clarity.
It really is much easier than you think, because I know I was only in lockdown because I was put off when I was at school because I was so bad. And I thought, I'll never knit socks. So in lockdown, I took the took the butt tip. Anyway, and I've knit quite a few pairs now. So it's much easier than you think.
Exactly. And then heels are, a trust the process kind of thing. You do have to, you look at them and you wonder, what is this flappy weirdness that's happening, and how is my heel ever going to fit into it? But as I said, we've got the reassurance there for you, so we'll get it done. Okay, so let's see. Next up questions. I don't think there's anything else coming up. Nervous but excited. Me too. I really hope you guys like it.
I think they will.
Sandy Khan then was asking, is it a toe-up pattern, and that you hope it is, because I explained things so clearly. Thank you. You're so good. So definitely. And then we had questions about how to cast off on toe-up socks. Okay, this is a whole thing, and it's not just this one person, Mama Moss. That's a cool username. So I might find that there's more questions on this later on, or you might have asked a similar question, but we will go into it. So first and easiest way to cast off at the top of a toe-up sock in a stretchy but not overstretched way is to use a needle size several sizes up from what you've been working on. So these socks were knit on 3.25 millimeter needles, and the cast off I used a 6 millimeter. So a good bit up.
Because it has to get around, I think that's the thing. People make the mistake. It has to get around your heel. So
up over your instep. Yeah, it does. And it is something that people are concerned about. Like, they think it kind of needs to be tight because they think that what's holding the sock up is the cast on, but it's not. It's your rib.
And
so if you find that your socks are slouching, falling down on you, more rib and tighter rib is the way to go, rather than tighter cast on or cast off, depending on.
It ends up being tight and digging into you. I don't think it'd be very comfortable.
No, not comfy at all. How to block socks, we'll talk about that, and whether it's necessary, in fact. And you stopped. Okay, there's a lot of people who don't like picking up stitches, because there's several, maybe if you haven't done socks before, you don't know, there's several different heel styles out there.
There's loads of them.
Name some heel styles.
Tomato. Something.
The sweet tomato.
The sweet tomato.
Which I've never done.
Integrated heel.
Yeah.
Heel
flap and gusset, yes,
flap and gusset.
Which is the one that we're talking about there, which does involve picking up stitches from the side of your heel flap. But the one that we do in the follow along is the German short row heel. And it doesn't involve any picking up of stitches. Yay! So, but there's many different ways. Afterthought heel, yes.
Really, really neat.
Nice and tidy.
Really neat.
Love it. Afterthought heel, we have some questions about that too as well. So the first, we'll go back to the bind off. Loose, there are larger needles, but remember to bind off in pattern. So if you've been knitting your rib, knit to Juicy Peach. That was the one from last week. Good call. So I'm still laughing. Afterthought heels are great. I've lost my train of thought.
Cast off.
Cast offs. There's also, and this is going to be one of the bonus tutorials, the cast off else used. Hang on, I'll get the one that's off the blocker. Here is a sewn or Italian bind off, which makes it look like everything goes over the top of your cast off, leaving no ridge or anything like that. So that's a little bit more detailed, but quite fun to do. And then something like Jenny's surprisingly stretchy bind off. Yes. Loads of options.
That's where I got the Jenny from.
It is. There's Jenny, there's
Judy
Judy,
for the toe, Jenny for the toe.
And all of those things. Now, let's see. Pros and cons. What would you see as a pro or con of toe up versus top down? Toe up versus cuff down? She's not sure. I know. We're putting Joy on the spot today.
I think I've only done toe up.
Oh, that's interesting.
Or maybe I didn't. I can't remember. Sorry.
I've done both, okay? And my number, because we're talking about this need for this sizing to be right. This very, very top part of the sock needs to be right. And if you kind of get it wrong on a cuff down sock, so you cast on here, you work down, and I've been in this situation where I've finished the whole sock, got down, grafted, and I can't get it on my foot. So you're then left with, you got to cut and then rejoin your stitches and recast them off and like right back up here. Okay, so it can be done. All is not lost.
Yeah.
But I prefer that if I had to do a bit of ripping, that it's right at the very
Tip.
end of my knitting, where that'll rip out quite easily, and I just need to change the needle size. Or so that's definitely one of
Definitely a pro.
the arguments in favour. Yarn usage is the other.
Yes, I suppose, yeah.
So, for example, these little kits from from Earth Yarns, called Unique Sock, they are split into two 50-gram, equal 50-gram balls, and you can then cast on at the toe and work on and keep going and keep going and keep going. So whatever length your foot is, it is, and then whatever yarn you've got left after that,
You just keep going.
just keep going.
Yeah, that's great.
And it's brilliant. So instead of ending up with kind of a reason like leftovers, I suppose.
Yeah.
It's the way to go. I
made those for my sister.
They're so cool. I love
She's
them.
older than me.
And there's something about striping sock yarns.
Love stripes. Love
Yeah,
them.
they make you. It's like crisps.
Yep.
Or potato chips.
Another row. Another stripe.
Another stripe. But I just want to see how the next stripe looks. But I just want to see. I have these rainbow socks from Opal sock yarn from back in our Blackrock days that I still just. I just love them. I love them. So number one is your cast off. You can redo that easier. Yarn usage. I had, what else did I have down? That I'm just trying to convince you guys on toe-ups. I'd love knee-high stripy socks. Yes, everybody
really
needs some
good.
Pippi Long stockings in their lives. And to avoid grafting, because I personally find
Do you know
magic. No, I'm all right with grafting. I don't mind grafting,
I don't
but I
mind
know
that.
a lot of people that really
They're
don't
afraid
like
of it,
grafting.
yeah.
So Judys Magic Cast On is probably like a little bit more accessible than having to get a separate needle and do the bits of the grafting. This is called Earth Yarns is the brand, and it's called Unique, Uneek, Unique Sock, Unique Sock. And we've got a couple of different colours. Yeah, up on there. So
Fun.
so much fun, so much fun. And in the past, I think there would have been an argument, like a lot of the toe-up socks were using German short row heels. And if you've got quite a high instep, some people are saying that's not the best fit.
Okay.
But now there are plenty of sock patterns out there that feature a reverse gusset, heel flap and gusset,
Okay.
like Albina's integrated heel. Yeah.
That was
so
my first one, Albina's.
Yeah.
It's really good.
great pattern, absolutely great pattern.
Yeah.
So once you've unlocked this method, you can go and play around with lots of different heels and stuff,
Yeah.
because once you get the short rows down, no bother to you.
Yep.
And Botany Sarah, I've never thought that I'd want to switch to toe up until now. Convincing done.
There you go.
And I look
something
forward to
new.
it. Oh, lovely. And so Lula Kruna is taking a break from schoolwork, and she's going to learn how to knit socks instead. Okay. Fantastic. So hopefully that's covered those questions there. Laddering in Magic Loop and DPNs. I'm going to give that one to you. How do you avoid that?
The thing that I remember when I was making, what was I make toys more for DPNs rather than Magic Loop. And the thing I read was, you know, the way you're inclined to, when you go from one needle to the next, you're inclined to make the first stitch tight. It's not the first stitch. Do it on the second stitch.
Yep.
That's one of the ways. The other way is to change where your join is every few rows. That's another way of doing it, where you, if you know what I mean, if you're doing the Magic Loop, don't do it always the same split. Move the split. And that kind of evens it out.
They're still asking you to speak up a wee bit.
I'm sorry.
Pretend they're over there.
No!
So we were saying just to move your join point, if you can shift that around, because that stops the ladders from like following this channel. But
or at least they're spread out so they look like they're correct.
But
that other trick of pulling the yarn for the second stitch on the next needle, yank that one pretty tight. That helps. And I've used that.
Very good, very good. So I think that's a common issue, you know, like
it is. But again, don't leave it always the split at the same. Just move. Now, with DPNs, that's not so easy, I suppose. But certainly on Magic Loop you can do that.
It can be done, yeah.
I'm really sorry.
Sorry about the microphones. We're definitely going back to the shop. Yeah, a long-time knitter here. I would encourage newbies to jump in with confidence. Don't think too far ahead. Yes, with the great instructions offered, you'll learn the tips as you go. That's it. Yeah, don't worry too much. We got you. We got you. I was going to say, there is then the option of shorties, short circulars of like, you can get them in 23 centimeters now if you really want to avoid those joining parts as well, and just do the Magic Loop part on the toes and the heels as well. Okay.
There's options.
We had a question about grafting, and
Valerie says you can't see the ladders when it's on and stretched out.
Yeah, because you've got that negative
solve,
ECM.
like when you block, are you going to cover blocking now?
Yeah.
When you block the sock, like on something like that, you can solve. It's a bit, it evens it out quite a bit.
Yeah.
Because there is negative ease, so it will stretch it.
Exactly. And then I don't move when I'm doing the Magic Loop technique, so the split point is along the side here and here. So you've got like the top of your foot is one half of your stitches and the bottom is the other half. And I never bother moving that as I go because I know that at the end, and actually I nearly have an opposite problem. You can faintly see a line where it's just tighter up there. No ladder, I don't know.
But that kind of fits.
It fits, yeah.
Where it is.
Almost like a faux seam.
There you go.
But the blocking definitely, because you're letting the fabric kind of floof out a bit and then relax back, and it all tends to sort itself out. Blocking socks is not at all 100% necessary, because somebody did ask this.
Okay.
And using sock blockers, that's it. You can just lay them flat. That's fine. Okay.
I did initially.
Sock blockers
as well.
pretty. Sock blockers are pretty.
Flat.
They really help for taking photographs. And they really help for if you have like a lace pattern or something that you want to even out, right? But you don't have to.
Not necessary.
Often in past times when I finish the socks, especially if they're stockinette, just throw them on my feet.
Your feet. Yeah, block them.
Wear them around the place. Hello. So just wear them around and like let those things take its course because they'll block on your feet. Yeah. What short row method would you recommend for the boomerang heel? It is German short rows all the way. We do sell the blockers. They are branded by Kremke Sole Wool. Sorry, everything is backwards. Kremke Sole Wool, and we have 3 different sizes. Shadow wrap heel is not what we're using. We find German short rows is more commonly used now, and I think a little bit easier to kind of deal with.
People who are starting.
Yeah.
I mean, the idea is that you start with this. You get the passion, and then you try all of the different methods.
And you'll find the one that works best for you then, Yeah. So the question that we had, and this is for cuff down socks, okay, because we're not just talking about the follow along today, it's a whole sock thing. But from Liz Sully, you were wondering about tips for grafting at the toes. There's Jenny, my niece says hello to me. Hi, Caitlin. Hi. Sorry about that little personal interlude. But what Liz was worrying about was maintaining tension across when she's grafting.
Yeah.
We do have a tutorial on grafting, which I've asked Anne-Claise to pop up in stories sometime in the next 24 hours, so you can find it easily. Because the thing about Kitchener stitch is you don't maintain the tension as you go. I don't worry about maintaining the tension across as I'm doing the actual grafting.
Especially on the toe, because it's only that much.
Teeny tiny. And even I've done whole shawl pieces going together and stuff, and just I kind of do about 15 stitches, and every, like take a break, and then I go back with the blunt end of the needle and correct and match.
Pull.
Yeah, pull, you kind of tugging on each leg.
Woolly Wormhead do that on one of her hats.
Yeah.
And I was fascinated because she went bloop, 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 and then she went back and then corrected it to the eye.
Exactly. So you can see like the stitch sizes match up with the other ones, but it is purely by eye, but it's totally fixable, after you've done, because I think the thing about grafting is you're trying to remember these 4 steps, and you're going, okay, where am I, and which step am I on, and you're going in, out.
Dip, pearl, pearl, neck, dip, pearl.
But if you're trying to worry about getting your tension just right and all that,
don't worry.
No, you're doing too much to yourself in that situation. So correct the tension at the other point, and Ankle says she'll post that tutorial as soon as the live is over. So they definitely, our pre-recorded ones work a lot better when you can see them in good light and everything like that. So so that is going to happen. And we've also had queries about the Afterthought Heal and picking up the stitches from a provisional cast on. Slow and steady.
Slow and steady.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Best advice. You've done the Afterthought Heal?
I did the Afterthought Heal because I was making these socks, as I said, for my sister. And I wanted, if you can see, I wanted the stripes to follow the heel. So I thought, oh, how am I going to do that? Because I suppose I could have done like a toe, I've seen that too, which would be an easy way, the toe a different colour, you know, matching colour, and the heel as well. Yeah. So I just followed, it's kind of Tanis Afterthought, Tanis Lavelle. Yeah. And it's a free pattern, and she, I mean, I really was not very, what would you say, experienced in socks, and I just followed exactly what you said, and they turned out brilliant. They really did. So.
Fantastic. Yes. Yeah. So contrast heels and toes. Contrast heel, definitely one of the easiest ways of keeping consistency of the overall pattern is the Afterthought Heal. Yeah. So definitely recommend. But once you've done a German short row heel, the Afterthought Heal is
just. But the thing is, with any of these kind of things, I find don't sit down and read the whole pattern and go, oh my God, I can't do. How am I going to do that? Nope. Do step one.
Yes.
Do step two. It works. It really works. Not that, you know, the way I used to say about men, they with
where's this going?
With instructions, men would go like, they go from 1 and they do step 1 and then go to 10 and they break the darn thing. And I'd always say, can you not just read number 2 and number 3 and, you know, follow the line of what they're telling you to do? Anyway, sorry, that was just an aside.
See, look at all this in I was just like, I'm going to go over here.
I'm blushing now, sorry.
Okay. Yeah, sorry, I've moved my mic closer to her now. Okay.
I apologise for that.
No, it's fair. It's fair. Okay, let's
I have 3 sons, what can I say?
What am I letting myself in for, my two? Okay, so... It's just funny because it's true. All right. Where am I lost? Yeah, you guys are, yeah.
Anyway, onwards and upwards.
Onwards and upwards. So sliding socks. This is Ozone Baby Creations.
I've broken the boss.
You have. I'm done for now. Ozone Baby Creations, you were asking about having socks that slide down your legs, and we were covering that a little bit earlier about making sure that you did like a tighter rib or a longer rib, like a deeper rib. One of my favorite ones to do is actually a twisted rib. So it's a knit one through the back loop and then purl one, knit one through the back loop, right? So that makes an overall
very elasticy,
and it's going to hold better. And I think I say at one point in the lessons, it's like, and carry on knitting the rib for as long as you can tolerate knitting the rib, basically. So because it is going to help with the fit overall. And then, oh dear, heel-related questions. What have we got? We had a few different ones. Yes, we had Bo Castle asking about the Afterthought Heal, so we were covering that. And as I said, lots of different people. You were all like really keen to know more. We were saying different types of heels. So I'm going to show you examples of some of the different types of heels from some of the box.
Socks.
You see, they're sock books, so I went box.
You want sock book?
Yeah, I'm going to turn the camera around though and pop it down in a second.
Oh, right.
And I'm going to show you some sock yarns as well, because we had questions about what are the best types of yarns to use for socks.
Yes.
So let's have a look at some heel things. I'm just going to make sure I am covering all of this. But there is the question, and this came up for, a good few people. How to avoid holes at the joins of heel flap and gusset cuff down socks. So this is where you ignore the pattern. Sorry, I'm going to find a sock that is like that. Okay, pardon, excuse me. This is a common problem just here, is this joint. So if you're working a sock from the cuff down, you generally, you work from here, you go down, you make a heel flap. This is a squishy garter one on a different pattern that Aisling was working on, and you shape your heel around the base here, and then you come back and you pick up stitches. Excuse me. It's all the laughing, I'm losing my voice.
Told you I'd broken her.
You did. So avoiding, sometimes this can leave kind of a fairly sizable hole. It is a pretty sock. I'll show you the yarn that it's made out of in a second. And
it's like picking up the stitches here.
Yeah, exactly that.
And what's the trick?
Go on.
Pick up extra stitches.
Extra. Ignore the pattern.
Ignore the pattern.
You do you.
If it says pick up 10, and you know, when you pick up the 10, you've got a hole, pick another one up, and just kind of lose it then on the next row.
On the next round.
Two together or whatever.
Yeah, yeah. So at that point, if you've got quite a wide gap, I mean, even sometimes, like, it don't need to stop at one. If you're looking at that and going, that gap needs 2 more stitches, pick them up. Yeah. Definitely do that. And then on the next round, you just sneak in the decreases, and all will be well in the world, okay? And it's the same as when you're joining in for underarms in top-down sweaters and stuff like that. And that will sort that out. You just need to work confidently on and kind of go, you see, I think and nearly all the patterns are still written this way, even though every designer knows that there's a whole issue there, you know?
Isabel Kramer, I know I've said this before, if you watch us, she said it in a pattern that I was doing. Don't be afraid to pick up extra stitches.
Yep, just do it. It's okay. Yeah, and you just get back down to the right number. I think there's like too much of a focus on but everything has to be divisible by 4 or everything's got to line up exactly right. But like real knitting isn't always going to follow those rules. So definitely, and we had that asked by at least 3 or 4 people there. And then Dilber Gardini. Wow, Dibble Gardenia. I'm going to do my best on this, but you were asking for a good fitting heel for a toe-up sock, and I'm going to interpret that as meaning that your German short heels don't fit as well as you'd like them to, and you need a bit more of a gusset. So in that case, and this is not your first rodeo, go ahead and follow LB Hand Knits, and her basic sock with integrated heel has
that was my first sock.
Both a cuff down and a toe up method for this, but with an integrated heel, both with a gusset and heel flap. That's what I mean. Words are there, and you'll get a better fit if you have a higher instep on those. All right, so
I think some yarn?
We'll do some yarn, and. Oh yeah, and then and I'll cover the question from Gail Tector where you were looking for a pattern. You've done lots of stockinette stitch socks, but every time you try and add a bit of pattern to it, you're struggling. So I've got a few sort of halfway there patterns, like something to try next that isn't all over stitch patterning as well. So that's what's in these books. Now, here's me trying this. I'm worried that Instagram is going to give us issues. So I'm going to stand. We can do the yarn here. Yes, yeah.
Do you want to?
Do. So you tell.
Somebody mentioned
some of that one. So go ahead with that one.
Believe it or not, that's that. See
it's
how
great.
It's really lovely. It's a DK weight.
Stand closer to. I'm standing closer to you for my
sorry,
purposes.
So you can hear me?
Yeah.
It's a DK weight. So this is opal, and it's called Wilder Winter. And it's really lovely. This color is 11185, but we have a few different colors of it. So it's called Wilder Winter Opal. And this is how it knits up, which is really nice.
Really, really lovely. I love and they come in 150 gram balls, so there's always enough yarn for your different sizes as well. So and those thicker ones.
These are some more opal ones. This one is a new one to us. It's pretty, called Pretty. So as you can see, on the ball band, there's a picture of what it should come out like. So this one is, 11280. I should talk loud. 11280.
And it's sparkly. Did you see the sparkles?
Yeah, it's got sparkles in it.
Sparkles. There you go. Okay.
And this one is called Cats and Dogs. This one's for Maureen. This might be Jessie. I think she actually bought it as well. So it's 11233. And again, there's lots of lovely colours. And that's what it knits up like. So they're the opal ones, and we've shown those.
Shown the uniques, yep.
How about this for a lovely bunch of yarn? This is Jenny's Clarendon sock. So absolutely lovely, 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 lovely colours. And also we'd suggest too, when you're starting off, a lighter colour rather than a darker one, so you can see what you're doing. Always a good thing. So this one is Moonbeam, which is the one that
the sample knits. That's my name, Lisa.
Anyway, so
won't take it to heart.
Eden, lovely blues and greens and pinks.
Lovely.
Cupcake.
Yummy.
Yummy cupcake. And we have Oasis.
All very springy, aren't we?
Loads and
Super
loads
springy.
I mean, there are millions of colours.
Yeah.
But anyway, Vault. So there you go. Yeah.
Gorgeous.
So there. And then for the deep one, we also have
Oh yeah, yeah.
Life in the Long Grass fine sock. So this one is called Druid. So that's another one.
Yes.
And we have several colours in that. And this is the DK
of Moonbeam.
Moonbeam, which is
Pretty
really
different.
lovely.
It is. It's fun to use, and that there, it's a merino cashmere nylon blend. So there's that bit of nylon in it that makes it suitable for sock knitting. And I want to show that rainbow one. Yeah,
Yeah.
I love it. Yeah. So if you are going to choose a DK weight yarn, try and find one that either has a little bit of nylon in it, or think about the purpose of the socks. Then you know, if you're just wearing them around the house and stuff like that, then you're probably fine. You don't necessarily need a nylon or a linen. A lot of times linen is being used in sock yarns now to for a natural.
We have lazy linen.
Yes, it's called lazy linen, and that means that you've got an all natural but like slightly more resistant to wear and tear yarn for sure. So what you want. I just wanted to show you the rainbow version of the Earth sock yarns. They're so cool, and they sort of fade a little bit. The stripes aren't as defined as some of them, but there you go. We definitely need knee-high socks in those. And there was a question, I did see it about working up the leg if you have kind of thicker calves, or obviously the shape changes as you go up the leg, and to allow for that. So that is in there as a bonus calculator too. So you do your measurements once you know your stitch tension, your row gauge. You can plot that in and measure around. After you've finished your heel shaping, measure how high just before the cuff that you want measure the width of your leg at that point up the leg, how tall you want it to be, and the calculator will spew out where you are to do your increases as you work up the leg, and that'll be included in a little bonus pattern edition as well. We got it covered, and this is why it's taken so long. Okay. So we'll take a look at a few wee patterns, but I'm just going to remind you at this point that you now have early bird access as you wonderful people joining us. So if you're going to join us, make sure to get your ticket before Sunday, and your first lessons will then come to you next Thursday, so a week from today. So the early bird offer on until Sunday. The tickets will still be available after that. This is sort of a lifetime follow along, but if you want to get your ticket and your €20 coupon and start planning your yarn and all the bits and pieces, then make sure to grab the offer. Grab it. Okay, can you stay there while I set up this and just like wave at people? Let's see, and we'll pick out, I just a few sock patterns that I wanted to do to show off a little bit.
They're such fun, these.
Yeah.
So, here we go.
Neek.
We're going to hope it goes well.
I'm going to hope it turns around and does that, so you just see the top of my head. Turn around. Okay, yay. Now, all right. So just to show you a peek in at some of the variety of things you can do after you've got your basics down. Now, not all of these are toe up by any means, but I think once you've got your toe up, cuff down will be no bother, and you'll understand a lot of the concepts. For our fantastic person who was a bit worried about introducing new techniques, stitch patterns, color work and everything into their socks at the same time as doing all the other techniques, do it first, make a lovely plain foot, and then add in your detail. I think that's the way
That's
to
a great
go,
idea.
rather than trying to worry about doing all over lace or all over cables. So this, again, is Knit Like a Latvian Socks. Just so much fun can be had with it. But that's the Winter Fields pattern. You can play around like look at these.
I like those.
And
They
they're
look
so
lovely and cozy.
gorgeous. Really, really nice. Beautiful gifts for people as well. And it just gives you an idea of what else is in there. Oh my goodness. How much fun could you have?
Oh, look at them. I like
Okay,
them.
these are not for the faint of heart, but it'll give you an idea. That's a next level up. But I know there's still some people are watching who have made plenty of socks and are just looking for new challenges too. We will do next on the new challenges, knitted socks from Finland. I think I just picked out one. Look at the one on the front though. And that's like one of those yarns that transitions in the way that the Unique Socks does.
Yeah.
And it's just off the charts. It's
Off
I
the charts.
better be a knitted chart for that one for sure. But here is just some of the way, if you don't want to do colour work, that you can add in beautiful textures. Lovely, again, just detail running up, but it's not overly complicated. That pattern is called Endless. They might seem endless as you're making them.
Oh, look.
Look at those.
Oh, I do like a cable.
And this pattern is called Flirtation. You do, don't you? You do like a cable.
I do like a cable.
And actually,
Oh.
I think I'm going to talk about it just for a second. We did have a question about knitting socks with scrap yarn, and I think the best thing that you can do with that is a tutorial coming next week on helical knitting, because I think helical striped socks where you're using up your scraps and just keep going until you run out and then throw a few,
Oh, look at them.
rather than having to weave in lots of ends. I don't think having a lot of ends in your socks is a fun thing, which is why, I mean, getting colours like this, but this is just one other second yarn that just
Yeah.
changes as you go.
Yeah.
You don't want to be dealing with an awful lot of things. There are many great scrap yarn projects out there, but I don't think, I'm not going for sock ones. So, Carol Gusty, you're asking, how is the yarn colour change handled in socks? Where and how do you hide all the ends? So if you're doing stripes, I mean, you're carrying the yarn as you go, would be like, you're not breaking it every stripe, so I'd choose that. But as far as the change point, I would be doing it at the side of the foot.
Yeah.
You know, maybe if you plan very carefully, you do it as, you know, the inside, so your other foot is over here, you know, like on the inside of your foot, and then your other foot is there, so that as you're wearing
gotcha.
them, it's not, if you have
Showing on
any
the
kind of,
outside.
yeah,
Yeah.
showing on the
Makes
outside.
sense.
But that is where I would do it, so that it's not adding bulk under your toes, or it's not really obvious on the top of your foot. Another nice basic addition to plain stockinette stocks would be something like this, a simple broken rib detail. That's from the beautiful new book, 52 Weeks of Socks. And that one is called O9 Lakok. And I'll just show you one more, again, on the simpler idea, little bit of detail, nicely repetitive, not too much kind of moving or traveling. And that one is Forest Trail. So, loads of ideas for you there. How many rows can you knit with a new colour without breaking the old yarn that you want to use again next? You can carry it up as you go. I go kind of like 8, maybe even possibly more, to be honest. Once you're doing the wrapping of that yarn at the side.
Not have it loose.
Not have it loose, so you kind of catch it underneath as you meet it again. You can bring it up, and you get a kind of like barber pole thing happening on the inside. So would definitely recommend doing that. And here you go, another one here where just a bit of detail up in the foot. It was nice.
Look at
A little bit more going on.
Yeah.
Loads of inspiration for you. And there's an actual sock in this book, folks. This is one that Ash has made. And this is what we mean by the gusset, is where you're creating more width of fabric at this high-end step location. And then your heel flap comes down. It usually has some texture, something built in to make that like a little bit more resistant to wear and tear. So that is lots of inspiration for you. I hope you enjoyed that. There's still more questions coming in. I will attempt to turn you around again for that. But I think we have, there's Joy. Now, are you there?
I'm here.
Are you sideways? Are you left or you right? Now, a little bit too inside. We fix that now. Okay, can you knit on a 23 centimetre circular? Yes, you can. No, you definitely can, but you do need a way to divide the stitches in half for the toe and for the heel. I was saying the word toes and heels so much lately that they just lost all meaning. Which pattern is that last sock example? Oh, this one here? Sorry, we'll find it now. I used it as a placeholder and then I took it out, and we'll find it now for you. So it's from the 52 Weeks of Socks book. It's a little bit further back, but I'll let my my trusty. Ashley. Ashley's upstairs. Poor Ash hasn't been well, but it's there. I'll dig it out for you if we don't find it in the next minute, or I'll look on to the next one. Oh, I think it's called Kuntum. Oh. Kuntum. It'll be there. No. Okay,
I look it up in the
yeah. And can you show the needles that I use for sock knitting? So the ones that I use are, where are we? Variations on this theme right here. So they are 2.5 millimeter, 100 centimeter fixed circular needles. You can obviously use interchangeables if you've got the tips and the cables. Some people will use 80 centimeter cables instead. I just like to have a little bit more flexibility in my cord, but it's a personal preference when you're doing magic loop as to how much Kuntum.
117.
She's got it now. So yeah, it's just it's personal preference in terms of the length of cable that you're using, but also flexible. It has to be a flexible, Kuntum, and it is pattern number 24 in the 52 Weeks of Socks book.
First book.
In the first one, yes, because then the second one is out now. So that is all of our sock content for today. Lots and lots and lots more of it is in the follow along, and the first lesson goes out next Thursday. Let us know if you have any questions about it in the meantime. Give us a shout. You can always reach us by direct message here or through the website, anything like that. And I think I'm all socked out. You? Yeah. Thank you so much for all of your really, really, truly wonderful questions, because it was amazing to kind of go through and to see where the pain points are, what people need help with.
Everybody's so interested in the really good questions.
Yeah, absolutely. And part of it is, you're going to learn how to swatch a cheat swatch in the round like this as well for your custom socks if you want. So loads and loads of options. Remember, there's 3 patterns. Tons of tutorials, downloadables, functional calculators, so you don't have to do any maths whatsoever. A bit of counting, but that's about it. So I hope you'll join us. I hope you'll enjoy the process and let us know how you get on. Thank you, as always, for being along on our lives.
Sorry about my sound.
We're going to fix this now. That's it. Done. New microphones next week or next time. Okay, we'll talk to you soon. Love to see you all, and mind yourself. Bye-bye.